Hi friends, so we have a lot to do in the garden today. Yesterday was raining. It was quite miserable to be out. We got a few dry hours, so we got some things done. But today it's been sunny and pretty nice. So even though it's a little bit cool, it's nice and dry, which makes all the difference. So what I'm gonna do today is I'm gonna get this plant into the garden. So can you guess what that is? This plant is a bleeding heart, so Dicentra spectabilis, and it has pink and white flowers. I'm a big fan of this plant, and it was on clearance for $3, marked down from $9. So every time I see this on clearance, I try to add more of these in my garden because I do have a lot of shade areas and I love this plant. It blooms in spring and then it disappears in the summer and then it will come back again. And I think in my front garden I might have forgotten where I put it and put another plant in there, but hopefully it comes back. And then the second plant I got was this one, which is another shade plant. This is an Astilbe. It looks really healthy, really nice, and it's called Visions in Pink. So I had put one of these in the garden recently, so when I saw this I was like, okay, I'm gonna grab another one and add this to the garden as well. This one was also on clearance for $3, marked down from basically $9.98 as well. So very healthy plants, and now's a good time to get these clearance plants and get them in the ground because you still have enough time to get them established before winter, and they're great deals and they will reward you next season. So I'm gonna find some shady areas to put those in. All right, so I have this garden bed here next to the shed, which is in part shade, and as you can see I have hydrangeas in here which are doing really well. These are the little lime punch, and I've got a variety of different shade plants in here. I've got Jacob's ladder, I've got Alchemilla mollis, I've got pulmonaria, there's a fern back here. So I've just kind of popped it in with various shade plants, and I think I'm gonna put this bleeding heart right in here in this little hole in by this hosta, and between these hydrangeas, because this will bloom earlier and then the hydrangeas bloom later. So I think that'll be adding some floral interest to this area. And just wanted to give an update. This is the Invincible Ruby, and you can see it, compare it to the Little Lime Punch. So Little Lime Punch seems to have bigger flowers, but of course this has been here longer, and this is a clearance plant that I put in this season. But you can see it's so beautiful and it's doing really well. Like there's buds growing on it, so I'm very excited. There's new growth. So I was a little bit concerned this area might not get enough sun, but you can see it's doing really well. It's got all kinds of new buds on it, so I think that is a good spot for it. If not, I can always move it. And then I also added this pulmonaria this year, which is doing great as well. So I think I found my spot for my bleeding heart in this garden bed by the hosta, and it'll be blooming before these hydrangeas. And then while these hydrangeas are up in bloom, the bleeding heart will go dormant, so it'll disappear. So I think that's a perfect spot. So I'm going to get that in the ground. And this is just the view from the other side. So you can see I have a little fern here, which isn't doing that great. I gotta just pull a weed next to it, but yeah, that one I'll steer clear of. Maybe it'll make a comeback. And I also have this looks like a plant that didn't make it, so I'll probably pull up those roots and compost them, and should be good to go in this area. All right, so I've got my hole dug, and I'm trying very hard to keep it kind of level with this sidewalk. So I'm going to try to keep the crown at the sidewalk level or slightly higher, because this area is so wet and damp, and basically I don't want any plants rotting. Good thing is that I've been amending the soil and it looks like it's improved quite a bit. There is some worm activity in there because basically the soil in this backyard is not the greatest. It is basically this gray clay. And let's see what the roots look like on this plant. So I'm just gonna carefully get it out of the pot. Oh yeah, they look really good. Don't have to tease them too much. They're not girdled or anything like that. Looking really nice. And you can see the hole is pretty damp. We had a lot of rain yesterday. And basically when you put it in, you just want to put the best foot forward, kind of, and position it how you like. This one has a lot of green growth, new growth in it, so that's good. And I did trim off some broken branches. Basically, it's gonna I'm gonna leave it there to die back, and basically these leaves will absorb all the sunlight that we have left remaining in the year, and I'll give it energy for next year. So pretty much that's all we have to do, is just backfill and put the mulch back over it. Just gonna break up some of these heavier clods of dirt. All right, it's looking great. I'm just gonna tamp it in with my foot around the base to get out any air pockets. And then normally you would water this in, but because we just had rain and we're expected to have more rain, I'm not gonna water this guy in. All right, so I've got my bleeding heart planted in the part shade bed. Now I've just got to find a place for this Visions in Pink Astilbe. And I did previously plant one right there. This is supposed to be a Visions in Pink. And I think what I'm going to do is plant it right on the opposite side of the sidewalk. I think that'll be a really nice look and kind of will look good across from each other. Now these are both labeled Visions in Pink, but because they're not in bloom, you never really know. But you know what? We'll give it a go and we'll find out next year. Wait for the surprise. Hi friends, so I just wanted to pop in on here to share that I bought another rose. So I had no intentions of buying another rose, but somebody was selling their David Austin Alnwick rose in Vancouver. So they had a balcony garden and it had outgrown its pot. So she was selling it for $30, which is a really good deal, especially for my location. Usually you can't get David Austins for less than say $50–60. So it was a very healthy specimen. So I got it and brought it back here, wrangled it, and have it here ready to plant. I'm not going to have time today. I'm just heading to work, and unfortunately it's going to have to wait for another day. I'm just going to give it some water and then hold it over, and then I have to find a spot to put it because I didn't plan to buy this, but I couldn't resist. So let me show you how it looks. So I'm enjoying the scent of this heliotrope here on this beautiful beautiful morning in September, and this here is the Alnwick rose. I hope I'm saying that right, Alnwick, and I believe it's named after gardens at Alnwick Castle in England. And you can see that it is, she just popped it right out of the pot, popped it into a garbage bag for me. So I think it's pretty okay because it has its like soil all over the root ball, and I'm planting it at the right time of year, which is going into fall. So I think it'll be blooming next year. And as you can see, it's a really healthy specimen. It has some leaf damage, but no big deal. So I'm gonna probably give it a cut back to some extent, and I'll show you the picture of the tag. So this is what the blooms look like. They're a beautiful soft pink color. So I have the Boscobel rose, and this is, I believe, a lighter pink color. And I have the Queen of Sweden, and I believe this is slightly deeper. And it does depend on your soil, I believe. So this is an English shrub rose, and it's a medium shrub. It gets 4 feet tall to 3 feet wide. So you gotta give it room. And it likes full sun to part sun. You can see the specs here that the colors of the bloom is light pink, medium-sized blooms, sun or partial shade, all soil types, and it's a repeat flower from June to September with a fragrance that is medium strong old rose scent, and it's zones 4 to 11. All right, so yeah, I think it definitely had finished its time in the container, so I'm really happy that I'm able to add it to my landscape and just give it a second lease on life in a new location. So like and subscribe, and hopefully you can see where I end up putting this in the next video. Thanks so much.